The source of drinking water along the St. Clair has always been from the river itself. The Sarnia Waterworks, built in Point Edward in 1913 and raised during the mid-1970s, made water readily available through pumps at individual homes. Before that, the source of water was handled in a much different manner. Until the early 1880s, fresh water from the St. Clair was delivered to homes in low, horse-drawn, two-wheeled carts, often without sides, known as drays. The men who owned and worked these carts were known as draymen. One of these draymen who had hauled water by wagon was Levi Causley, a descendant of the original Cazalet family that settled along the east bank of La Riviere St. Clair about 1807. He was also an ancestor of the Causley families still living in the Sarnia area. Draymen used to carry a large box on the rear of their wagon, inside of which were receptacles containing from 3 to 4 barrels of water. These were delivered to any part of the town at 15 cents per box. They drove to the foot of George, backed their wagons into the water, where a platform and large dippers enabled them to load up conveniently. The drays used to stand on the west side of Front Street, near where Geary's drugstore was. They were of the two-wheel type with a long slanting platform. Later they were moved in front of where the St. Clair Hotel stood, then to the west side of Christina just off Lochiel, and finally to the Market Square. Born in Germany, the Cazalets emigrated to Quebec and eventually made their way west to the Detroit area, and then north to both shores of this land situated at the south shore of Lake Huron. The Cazaleys were one of the 3 original white families to settle on both sides of the St. Clair. Their family is the only one to have lived in this area now for more than 200 years. An Ontario historical plaque in Mackenzie Park along the St. Clair River reads, "The French-speaking families of Ignace Cazalet, Jean-Baptiste Perret, and Joseph Laforge arrived here 1807 to 1810. Other settlers, many of Scottish descent, came in 1832 to 1834, following the 1829 survey of Sarnia Township. A community called the Rapids, renamed Port Sarnia in 1836, soon developed, and among its prominent early residents were Richard Vidal, George Durand, and the Honorable Malcolm Cameron. Called Sarnia after 1856, the village flourished, stimulated by regional lumbering activity, nearby oil discoveries, and the arrival of the Great Western and Grand Trunk Railways in 1858 and 1859 respectively. Later, Sarnia became a significant transshipment port for Western grain. Incorporated as a town in 1856 and as a city in 1914, Sarnia is one of Canada's important petrochemical centers. The Cazalets were not too long in this area before the name became Causley, probably as a result of an English interpretation of a name pronounced in French as Causley. The Causley family has been here in Sarnia since the early 1800s.